Good morning, guys. I am Katie from Mitsa Creek Farm, and hopefully you can hear me over these noisy little critters. The guineas think they're ducks, so they always hang out with the ducks, and they're up and running around this morning. It's really foggy out. It's beautiful, beautiful morning. 2 nights ago, we got a weather alert saying we were supposed to get a frost last night, and originally the forecast had called for like 38 degrees last night, and we ended up not getting a frost, thank goodness. So that is a big relief. We started harvesting as many pumpkins as possible, and then I kind of realized it wasn't getting as cold as it was going to be. So I'm just out checking everything this morning, and I am going to uncover the stuff that we covered. I don't think I ever showed you guys this. Over a year ago, we had scheduled an appointment with our processor to have our 3 lambs that we are raising this year processed, and they also do poultry. And so I scheduled an appointment for some Cornish cross too. And when we ordered Sydney's ducklings, we also ordered Cornish cross, and we ordered them so that they would be ready to be processed at the same date, same time as the chickens when we had the sheep, lambs when we had that appointment. And so I placed the order for the chickens in February for them to be delivered at the end of, I think it was the end of July, beginning of August. I don't quite remember. I think it was the beginning of August. So when our chicken place called and said, "Your chicks are in," I was like, "What are you talking about?" So sure enough, we are raising Cornish cross this year. Let me show you them. They are massive, and they are getting ready to go to the processor here in just a few weeks. So here they all are. There's a bunch inside the house too. Now, this is actually the start of a raised bed that we are building for next year for down at the high tunnel. But we realized we didn't have a big enough chicken tractor. We just had this size one. And originally we built this for like 10 chickens. And we want everybody to have as much space as possible and to be able to free range. So what we ended up doing is, once they got too big for them all to be, we locked them in there at night because that's predator proof. But during the day, we just have this go right around there, and we just move that the flower bed or the raised bed as we move the chicken tractor. So then they have lots of extra room. There are a few that fly out of it, but it's working pretty well. It'll do in a pinch. Not really that big of a concern. These were not our goal. They weren't on the agenda. So we're raising them with what we have. Obviously we have to buy them food and everything, but man, it is absolutely beautiful out. Parts of Beck's flower bed are looking pretty rough, and parts are looking absolutely beautiful. It's because of lack of water and lack of rain. Now, we have gotten 2 good storms. We actually had some tornado warnings for this area 2 nights ago. And so things are starting to bounce back and starting to turn green again and everything. But it just has been a very, very dry year, and so it's his responsibility to water this. So even though it doesn't look as nice as I want it to, he is still growing things, and he is taking responsibility for them as often as he remembers. So down here you can see we got a big old trailer of pumpkins that we picked. We have a whole bunch of white ones and some pink ones and some Cinderellas, some fairy tales. And so Some of those still need to finish ripening and curing. They will get put in the high tunnel, and the rest will wash and put out for sale. We picked those really quick because we didn't know how hard of a frost we were going to get last night. We just wanted to pick what we know would ripen in order to sell. We kind of figured if frost hit, the ones that are left out in the field, we could always feed to the critters if we needed to. So, but thankfully we did not. I got up many times throughout the night and checked on things. The mums, what's left of them, are looking awesome. So that is great. Today I want to finish coming down and kind of getting this more organized and picked up, because we just have so much stuff going in every which direction that we don't have a lot of time to actually organize this stuff and come up with a system as we're doing it. So now down here where my little greenhouse is going to be, we got a retaining wall built and we got tons of sand put in, and we just need to level out this sand a little bit more. Our gravel finally came. We've been using that to fill in potholes in the driveway. So once we get the sand pad level, then we're going to put down weed barrier, and then we're going to put down the gravel. So that is the plan for that. And then I am starting to figure out what is being planted where in this area for next year. And then that way I have a little bit of a game plan for things I need to order. The other day we were able to separate our sheep into two smaller flocks. You can see their head right there. That is the group of boys who are going to the processor, and the ewe lambs who are not going to be bred this year. And I think there's just one ewe lamb that's not going to be bred this year. I don't remember the exact numbers off the top of my head, but there might be two. So they are there. And then it's actually the ewe lambs from the last 2 years, now that I think about it. So they are in that pen there. And then over there are our other ewes who are going to be bred with our main ram, Vlad. We have them separated already. A few of the younger guys are pretty attached, younger lambs, whatever, are pretty attached to their mom. And so we decided to do it this way. Then that way they still can like see them and everything, but they like literally can't get out. It's all cattle panels. And so they can see each other from in the barn and they can see each other from outside. They just can't get to them. That will make things a lot easier when we go to put the ram in. Then that way we don't have anybody freaking out. We usually put them in right around Thanksgiving, which in our area is hunting season, and we don't want any sheep escaped during hunting season. So we're just slowly spreading them out and getting them far apart. And then that way when we do go to do it, if nobody will be like freaked out and try to escape. And then one other big thing that happened this week, the processor came out and was able to harvest one of our cattle, one of our cows. We use a processor who they will come to our farm and harvest her, and then they put her carcass in a cool area and then in one of their trucks, and then they bring it back to the processing facility and butcher her from there. So that works out really nice because then they're not stressed, and that's kind of like an important thing for us. So I'm just looking at everybody here, and we have really limited the pasture that they're on because the pasture conditions have been so rough. So I'm just checking to see. Looks like we need to put a new hay bale in, but everybody's here. Everybody looks to be doing okay, so that's good.
Hey, buddy.
So then here we are in the back pumpkin patch, and I'll show you some close-ups, but you can see behind me we have quite a few pumpkins left in here. I just did not want to pick them yesterday on the chance that it wouldn't frost. It was a risk I was willing to take, and it paid off. I wanted to, in the event it didn't frost, give these guys more chance to grow and ripen, because there's really no point in picking an unripe pumpkin at this point for most of these. There's a few that I think I probably could have, but I wasn't willing to risk it. So I was willing to play the cards the other way and see if we actually were going to get a frost or not. Now you can see I do have some powdery mildew on these outside rows. These I think were Connecticut field pumpkins, and they definitely, I don't think I'm going to be doing those. They've been a staple in our patch for quite a few years now. They're a good heirloom variety, but I don't like the powdery mildew, so I don't think I'm going to do those. And the cucumber beetles love them. So here's the difference between this here is probably a polar bear, and then that is a Connecticut field pumpkin. And look at that beautiful pumpkin. That's probably 20-ish pounds there. Things seem to be going really well. I'm a little more busy than I want to be, but I think that's kind of the story of my life. I like a nice relaxed pace, and oftentimes things are way too busy for my liking. So thankfully we are nearing the end of pumpkin harvest. We're getting pretty tired. It is, our vines were so productive this year. We're picking pretty much like every day. So that makes things pretty difficult. So we are looking forward to having these all picked so that we can take a breath and take a break. And so we are restocking our stand probably 2 to 3 times a week now. Instead of bringing things down as we wash them, we're waiting until we have like a big load or a big multiple loads, and then we bring them down. So that's kind of the plan. With that, we'll get those ones up there, get what needs to be finished curing or finished ripening, put in the high tunnel, and then the other things we will wash and then put out at the stand. So that's kind of the plan for those guys. I'm looking in here, and I have quite a few left in here. Some 1-2-minis, some white ones, some carvers. All right, so now that we have everything checked on, there were no emergencies, it is now time to get everybody fed. The goats are begging for food. The ram, that's our main ram, and he knows that I'll throw little pumpkins that aren't going to make it in for him, so he knows to go away from the pumpkin patch, and I'll throw something in for him. So everybody's begging for food. Time to go feed them. That's it for today's video. Thanks for tuning in, guys, and we will see you next time.